Well, public housing is a great asset in many ways because it does help a lot of low-income families live in places that they would not normally be able to afford. Do we need more? That's something to look at. A lot of the complaints from a lot of residents in the city is that we have too much. And that's something that I will look at once I become mayor. We need to take a look at why a lot of families cannot afford the rents in these cities. You know, when my parents first came here, as most other immigrants, it wasn't that expensive. And, you know, $1,500, $800, $700, that's a lot of money for a lot of families, especially when mom and dad only have a part-time job. They're only working 30 hours a week. We need to find better jobs for the residents in New Bedford so they can afford these rates. So public housing is a very good instrument, and again, it's something that we should keep. Is it something that we need to expand? I'm going to take a look at it first to see what we need. But having 1,200 families on a waiting list is not easy. It's not a good thing because we should be able to have low-income families afford to live in the city. We want people to come to New Bedford that are going to be productive, that are going to work, that are going to live here and send their children to school. So again, we need to see what we can do better when it comes to public housing.
So I'm not in favor of building any more public housing in the city. The majority of folks on the waiting list for public housing in New Bedford are not from New Bedford. There's a demand from folks from other cities where housing is very expensive to come here and move into either public housing or even some of the housing on the private market, especially in our tenement neighborhoods. And I'm concerned about the influx of poverty into our city. We don't want to be a city that's perceived as intolerant or unwelcoming. We are a very big-hearted and welcoming city, but we also are not in a position to take on folks with an awful lot of needs. Just to give you an example, so in this year there were, just as an indication of this trend, this summer there were 1,460 new students who enrolled in the New Bedford public schools. More than half of them came from outside of the city of New Bedford. There is clearly in it, and they came for reasons primarily because housing is cheaper. We've done these surveys, the school department's done them. So we've got a problem with importing poverty, which has been a long-standing problem in the city, but by building more publicly subsidized housing, we're only going to accelerate those trends. So my policy is let's put a roof over the heads of needy New Bedford families first.